Good morning, everyone. It's so lovely to be at a church that isn't my own, to see a sanctuary, to see a congregation, and to meet new friends. It's been really lovely, and I so appreciate the hospitality. I do unfortunately have to run after the service because my church is having our annual congregational meeting. So if you have any questions about my sermon today, Stephen can certainly connect you with me, and I can answer any questions that you may have. We also have a handout and an offering plate towards the back of the church if you would like to find out some more information. So good morning. My name is Katie Vardy. I am the minister at Birchcliff Bluffs United Church, and I am a candidate for ordained ministry in the United Church of Canada and working on my supervised ministry education placement at BBUC. As part of my ministry at Birchcliff Bluffs United Church, I have been privileged to support the work of Rainbow Community Places. Rainbow Community Places operates Toby's Place and Dorothy's Place, and in 2023, RCP became an incorporated and registered charity. In November 2016, Birchcliff Bluffs United Church took a bold and compassionate step forward, proudly becoming an affirming congregation. Yet, as many know, in order to truly be affirming, our words must be backed by action. Back then, Scarborough was a quiet place for queer and trans youth, perhaps too quiet. A survey conducted by Planned Parenthood revealed what many people feared. Young queer and trans people had very few places to gather safely outside of the bustling heart of downtown Toronto. A safe haven, a sanctuary for connection and acceptance was sorely missing. So inspired by this need and moved by their affirming commitment, BBUC opened its doors wider, offering its basement to a dream named Toby's Place, named tenderly after Toby Dancer, a talented trans musician who passed away in 2004. Since September 2017, Toby's Place has thrived in the church basement, becoming a beacon of hope, of laughter, and resilience, a space where queer and trans youth can find community and safety and solidarity in Scarborough. But the journey didn't end there. They soon recognized another quiet, unmet need: the absence of community support for queer and trans adults and seniors outside downtown Toronto. And so, in October of 2018, Dorothy's Place came into being, a sanctuary offering warmth, healing, and companionship for those over 50. Here, connections flourish, stories intertwine, and healing becomes possible in community. Together, Toby's Place and Dorothy's Place stand as living testaments to what affirming truly means. Spaces born from words made real, from compassion turned into community, and promises kept faithfully. On a typical Monday, we welcome around 10 Dorothy's Place participants. For Toby's Place, we welcome anywhere from 15 to 25 participants. And both programs, of course, take a village to run smoothly. Our program coordinator, Paisley, and I, along with our dedicated volunteer team, prepare and serve lunch for the seniors of Dorothy's Place and dinner for the youth of Toby's Place. Both Toby's Place and Dorothy's Place are secular programs with no religious agenda. While we meet in the basement of a church, our space is open to all, regardless of faith or belief, and our focus is on creating a safe, affirming community for queer and trans youth and seniors. Volunteers, including myself, serve in a secular capacity, offering support and practical resources. If anyone wishes to discuss matters of faith, I am so more than happy to share, but I will never initiate those conversations. For me, supporting Rainbow Community Places is an expression of my own radical calling to love and inclusion based on Jesus' teachings. However, this is my personal motivation, not the mission of the program. At its heart, Rainbow Community Places is about belonging, dignity, and care with no strings attached. And so, as I reflect on the work of Rainbow Community Places and my journey in ministry, I find myself drawing parallels between our scripture passage from the Gospel of Luke and the work of both Dorothy's Place and Toby's Place. The story of the prodigal son speaks deeply to the experiences of many queer and trans individuals, particularly those who have faced rejection and alienation and marginalization. The younger son in the parable asks for his inheritance early. He leaves home and lives a life of excess, only to find himself destitute and estranged from his family. When he returns, ashamed and repentant, the father greets him with open arms, rejoicing in his return. This image of unconditional acceptance and love resonates with the journey of many queer and trans people who often face a similar sense of rejection or estrangement from their families and communities when they come out or transition. In the church and wider society, queer and trans folks have often been treated like the prodigal son, cast out, rejected, or told that they don't belong. Many have experienced the painful reality of being pushed away by their families, faith communities, or loved ones as they were deemed unacceptable or unworthy for simply being who they are. Like the prodigal son, these individuals may find themselves in a metaphorical foreign land, disconnected and lost, struggling to find their way back to a place where they are loved and accepted for who they are. Rainbow Community Places embodies the Father's heart and the story of the prodigal son. It is a ministry that opens its arms wide to welcome back those who have been hurt, rejected, or forgotten. Just as the father in the parable does not ask the son to prove his worthiness or apologize for his past, Rainbow Community Places does not require queer or trans individuals to change, hide, or apologize for who they are. Instead, it offers a space of unconditional acceptance, a community where people can find healing and the safety to be their authentic selves. This homecoming reflects the radical grace of God, who calls all people, especially those who have been marginalized or excluded, back into the embrace of divine love. Rainbow Community Places is more than just a safe space. It is a tangible expression of God's justice, mercy, and inclusion, where queer and trans individuals can experience the restorative power of unconditional love, just like the prodigal son did when he was welcomed home. And so the story of the prodigal son reminds me of one of our Toby's Place participants, who I'll call Alex. Alex is 17 years old, filled with hopes and dreams and the promise of a future. But when Alex came out as trans to their family, their world turned upside down. What was once a place of love and comfort became one of rejection, fear, and hurt. School, too, became a battleground of silence and hostility. But Alex found their way to Toby's place. When they walked through our doors, something changed. For the first time in months, Alex was greeted by people who accepted them, people who used their name and their pronouns without hesitation. They were offered more than just food. They were offered care and kindness and a space to belong. Alex said to me a few weeks later, "I didn't know places like this existed. I didn't know people like you existed." But it's not just young people who need this space. One of our Dorothy's Place participants, who I'll call Miss Eleanor, is 76 years old. And she grew up in a time when being open about who she wasn't just dangerous, it was unthinkable. For decades, she hid her identity, afraid of the world's rejection. And when she finally mustered the courage to live authentically, she feared it was too late to find community. But then she came to Dorothy's Place. It was here that she met people who understood her experience, others who had walked a similar path. And they embraced her, not just as a visitor, but as family. She found people who would laugh with her, cry with her, and offer her a sense of belonging she had never dreamed possible. And a few weeks later, Eleanor said to me, with tears in her eyes, "I thought I would be alone forever, but now I have family again." And so these stories, the stories of Alex and Eleanor, are why spaces like ours exist. They are why dedicated programs for queer and trans people are not just nice to have, they're necessary. And the story of the prodigal son reminds us that every person, regardless of their past, is a beloved child of God, worthy of love, belonging, and grace. Rainbow Community Places reflects this divine truth, extending a hand to those who feel lost, broken, or abandoned, and welcoming them back to a place of safety and love. Recently, our program coordinator led a powerful workshop called Navigating Now, offering a space for reflection, of resilience, and support. In a world where queer and trans rights are under attack, our youth are not oblivious to what is happening, and they feel it deeply. They witness the injustice, they experience the collective heartbreak, and yet they continue to navigate through it with courage. This workshop explored self-confidence in the face of adversity, the weight of shared grief, and the importance of taking care of ourselves and one another in difficult times. Our role as volunteers is to walk alongside them, equipping them with the tools, resources, and safe spaces where they can process, heal, and find strength. This is not just about surviving the moment. It's about building a future where every young person knows that they are valued, supported, and never alone. And this is holy work. It's not just a program, it's a reflection of God's heart for us all. But friends, this is work that we cannot do alone. Our drop-in program relies on the gifts of many. Some people give their time while others give their talents. But for those who cannot be physically present, there is another essential way to uphold this work, through financial support. Your gifts ensure that the doors stay open, that the meals keep coming, that every young person seeking refuge and every elder longing for connection has a place to turn. We also know and recognize that times are tough. The cost of living is rising, and financial pressures weigh heavily on all of us. And we don't take that lightly, but we also believe in the power of collective giving, of many people contributing what they can to make something beautiful possible. Right now, we need approximately $6,500 per month to keep this ministry running. And that may sound daunting, but when we break it down, it becomes clear how achievable it is. If 130 people gave $50 a month, or 260 gave $25 a month, this work could be sustained. Every gift, no matter the size, matters. Every dollar stretches further than you might imagine, ensuring that the doors stay open, the meals keep coming, and that every person who seeks refuge and connection can find a place of belonging. And if you are not able to support Rainbow Community Places right now, we understand entirely. But maybe you know someone who is. Perhaps you have a friend or a family member or a colleague who shares a passion for justice and inclusion. Perhaps your workplace, a local business, or a community organization has the capacity to give or a connection to corporate or foundation funding. Advocacy isn't just about what we can give ourselves. It's also about opening doors and making connections. A simple conversation, a shared story, or a warm introduction could be the spark that helps sustain this ministry for years to come. And that's where each of you can make a difference. When you give to this program, you are participating in this sacred work. You are ensuring that every person who walks through our doors can feel the love and the care that they deserve. You are saying, you belong here. We are called to be a church that does not just say that all are welcome, but proves it. We are called to be a community where love is louder than hate, where justice is not an afterthought, where belonging is more than just a word. Thank you for ensuring that this ministry does not just exist for today, but is sustained for all the tomorrows to come. Together, may we continue to make a way for one another, just as Christ has made a way for us. Amen.